It's appalling. I just can't believe veterans are treated like this down here.
An 8 on Your Side investigation reveals troubling issues inside a taxpayer-funded shelter for our veterans. Good evening, I'm Stacy Scheibel.
And I'm Keith Kate. Thank you for joining us tonight. One veteran reached out to us saying that the conditions are so bad, he would rather sleep in his car than live in the shelter.
And that's when the city of Tampa and 8 on Your Side senior investigator Walt Buteau got involved. Walt?
Records obtained by 8 on Your Side reveal several violations at New Beginnings after recent inspections, even though the shelter receives hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money to help veterans who have nowhere else to live.
This is horrible.
Roger Hartnett tells me sleeping in his car while he waits for a VA housing voucher
It's disrespectful.
is a better option than Tampa's New Beginnings Veterans Homeless Shelter.
I love my fellow veterans, but it's not fair to these guys. You're just warehousing people.
When the U.S. invaded Panama, Hartnett recalls parachuting into the country to take down dictator Manuel Noriega. Hartnett served 2 years in the Army, but 30 years later, a series of issues left him homeless here in the Bay Area. The VA referred him to New Beginnings here in North Tampa.
That was the only room.
Hartnett was referred to New Beginnings, one of several local VA-funded shelters. Pastor Tom Atchison founded the nonprofit about 30 years ago.
Put a new roof on the other building.
Records obtained by 8 on Your Side show the organization received more than $1 million from the VA during the past 3 fiscal years to house up to 37 homeless veterans a night. 8 on Your Side was there as Tampa code enforcement responded to complaints and inspected New Beginnings. We also filed a records request to obtain reports that revealed dozens of alleged problems.
Just stupid things.
According to the documents, there were smoke detectors, structural, electrical, plumbing, and other violations, and multiple tenants claim there are bed bugs. Did you experience the bed bugs personally yourself?
The bites right there. And the VA is asleep at the switch.
Atchison calls the infractions minor.
We go through cycles where all of a sudden we get all the maintenance done perfect, and then we go through a cycle where things start breaking down.
And despite New Beginnings reporting about $1.1 million in revenue in its most recent tax filing, Atchison says it's not enough. If you're taking care of it the way you're saying you're taking care of it, how do you get this long a list in all of your units?
Because they're old buildings. Our contract, when it comes up in this November, I'm going to either tell them I need more money or we're not going to do it again.
I went to the VA to ask what that agency does about code infractions, but we were denied an on-camera interview. In a statement, Public Information Officer Kim Antos says if the provider does not resolve identified issues within the set timeline, we move veterans and stop payment to the provider. We brought the list of infractions to Congressman Gus Bilirakis.
Yeah, it's terrible.
He says there's no excuse for these types of issues at homeless shelters for veterans. Is this not good enough?
It's not good enough. It's not good enough for anyone, particularly our veterans, our true American heroes. And we want to do something about it. So I'd like to get involved, even though it's not in my district.
According to the VA, New Beginnings residents were recently asked if they wanted to stay at the shelter, and they said they did, according to the VA. When we were there, though, we talked to 20 residents, and 17 of them said they wanted to leave, but had nowhere else to go.
Well, this screams a question to me. If the VA is in charge of these, how often do they inspect these shelters we're paying for?
So once a year, we're told. We asked for the inspections for the last 2 years from New Beginnings. That was 6 weeks ago. We're still waiting.